Hi again, everyone. Welcome to the Frog Room. I'm Josh with Northern Frogger. The video today is going to be a build video. Finally going to get around to building this terrarium here, doing the background and the sides and stuff, getting it ready for frogs, and probably going to end up moving these guys, the Chizutas that are in here, over to this tank so I can do some work on this one and put the Vanzellinis in here. So let's get to it. Alright, so this is basically everything I'm going to need to do the background for this terrarium. You can see I've already done some work to it. This was from before. If you watched my previous video, there was the foam background still in here. So I pulled that out and I want to do a nicer background in here. But essentially, it's going to be more cork bark kind of stuck to the back, maybe a couple more on the sides. That's what these pieces here are for. And then in between those, all the edges are going to be filled in with this stuff. And this is just basically a mixture of these three products. You have the cocoa husk, forest moss, and plantation soil. And doing the background like that, I'm going to provide a little more security for the frogs. Don't have this big open space here. Having the background will make them feel more secure, which will actually probably help you see them a little bit more. And then just going to kind of provide a bit more aesthetics to look, as we put some cork bark along the back. It's almost going to look like the trunk of a tree or something coming up here. And then to attach all of the backgrounds and the cork bark, just going to use silicone. This is a Home Builder. This is the Home Hardware brand if you're in Canada. That's where I get this stuff. It says right on the front there, safe for aquariums. Other than that, I've got this is just an old hotel room key. I use to kind of just spread the silicone out rather than use your fingers. Then you probably want some kind of gloves or something too to keep the silicone off your fingers. And then I've also got these net cups here. I'll show you what I'm going to use those for in a second. And then lastly, just some paper towel just to clean up any excess that happens to get anywhere. Alright, so what I want to do with these net cups is basically use them as like a little planter inside the terrarium, somewhere you can put up high with a little bit of soil in it to get some plants growing. But they don't look all that great the way they are like that, so what we're going to do with them, this is an old one, it's a little beat up and stuff is starting to fall off of it, but this one actually came out of that terrarium. It was attached to the foam background at one point. But just to put some texture on it so it doesn't look like just a piece of plastic sitting in there. So I've got some of the same background mixture. Basically all I'm going to do is cover this outside in silicone about 3/4 or so the way around. Usually leave one side bare to make it easier to attach. Leave the bottom open as well so that water can drain through. Once that's all covered in silicone like that, basically just put it in here and then kind of roll it along. Let it pick up as much as it can. It's going to end up looking kind of like that. And yeah, that's basically it. So just going to leave that. I'm probably only going to use 2 or 3 for this terrarium, but I'm going to do up a few just to have some other ones to use in the future. So that's pretty much it for those. I'll set those aside and let them dry here overnight. I will start on the actual background. I'm just kind of at this point laying out some of these cork pieces, trying to figure out how I want to do it. This is the next step, is basically just kind of laying out where I want this wood, and then I'm going to go start attaching it with the silicone. So I'm just going to kind of start doing that, and I'll check in again once I've kind of got these siliconed in where I want them. Alright, so I finished siliconing in the background pieces. So this is what it's going to look like before I put the rest of the background in. But yeah, that's basically what the background is going to look like, and then I'll show you filling in around all these pieces. And I'm just going to kind of go in and squirt a bunch in all along the glass here. Now I'm going to use the card where I can. Now I switched to using my fingers. I'm just going to make sure I get it into every nook and cranny as much as possible. And you don't have to worry about it being all perfectly flat or anything like that. In fact, I don't mind it to be a little uneven because then it gives it a little more texture. So we're going to go ahead and slap the background on. I'm just going to kind of grab a handful and dump it on there. Then I kind of go along everywhere and press it in. So you can kind of see what it looks like at this stage. But yeah, that'll probably do it for today. Probably leave this and come back and finish up the sides tomorrow. Alright, so the silicone is dry. I'm just going to tip it up. Show you here, you can see a lot of the excess stuff is falling off. And just kind of go along and knock loose any of the stuff that's left there. Pretty happy with this background here, so I'm just going to go basically do the same thing to both sides. I'm not going to bother putting any more cork or anything on these sides. I'm just going to fill in with the background stuff. So yeah, that's basically going to do it for the silicone part, the background part. Just going to let this cure for at least 24 hours now. and then I can go in and put the drainage layer, soil, and plant it. Alright guys, got her up on the rack here, laid on it and mist it down, so that's pretty much ready to go. I'm going to let it sit and grow in for a few days before I move the frogs over. It's going to be this trio of chisudas. There's 2 males and a female in here. So they're going to be going into this one, and then I'm going to be rebuilding this one to use for the Vanzellinis. So yeah, let me know what you think of this build. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them down below there. So thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, happy frogging.